How's it going, guys? Tyrant here, and I just finished watching episode 4 of Hinamatsuri. And so this episode takes place right after last week's episode, or the last episode, depending on how you're seeing this. And Nita comes home, and the whole place is trashed after Hina tries her best to, help around the house. And she gets she gets disowned and kicked out of the house. And yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was this turned out to be a very interesting episode. So Hina kind of is now thrown into the world without Nita, and she's being herself. She ends up running into Anzu, and Anzu kindly takes her in and lets her enjoy, quote unquote, the homeless life. And Hina's just being Hina, and she's kind of just laying about, and it frustrates Anzu to a point. What's interesting is how what had me like baffled was, I like the characters that we have been introduced to so far are like our mainstay. We got Anzu, Hina, Hitomi, Nita. Fuck, what's the older woman bartender name? I can't remember her name. These are like our mainstay. Then we got Nita's friend. Like, everyone who interacts in this world is really interesting. And that's what I'm enjoying about the show so far. Because this episode really emphasizes some of these things. Like, when Nita goes to the bar and tells everyone, yeah, I disowned her. You don't understand. She's like, she's a monster. Not really a monster, but she's like, destroys the place. The aftermath is too much. And he gets kicked out of the bar by not only the elder bartender, but his friend and the other customers just get kicked out. And he doesn't need. There's a point where Nita's like, he doesn't care, but he still cares. Somewhere deep down in his heart. And he at the end realizes that and takes her in. And then with Hina's part, where she's kind of really doesn't learn anything, but does. So Hina's time out in the world ends up with Anzu, and then she gets kicked out from there after 3 days. Then she meets up with a rock and roll band, and it helps out a little bit with her psychic abilities and things along that way. And then at the end, Hina does her best to gain enough money to basically buy Nita a vase. And if towards the end of the scene, you get to see that vase is placed with his collection, even though it's a cheaply vase, but it means more than anything. So for the most part, it ended roughly. It was kind of funny in the middle, and hopefully Hina learned something, because Nita learned a lot. Second half of this episode is a little shorter, but enjoyable as well, where it's kind of the Anzu and Hitomi section of it. We learned that Hitomi works at the bar a little bit. We learn a little bit more that she works on the weekends, and using the alias that she goes and sleeps over with one of her friends. And along the way, she stumbles into Anzu and going there, going with Anzu, trying to help her out a little bit. Hitomi realizes that Anzu is homeless, becoming her friend, that which surprises her there too. And then kind of just like playing with her, even though she was up all there working. It's really sweet to see that, and it's been something I've been hoping to see a little bit more, other characters interacting with each other. Once we get a little bit more crossover, because everyone's kind of doing their own thing. And this is the first time Anzu and Hitomi have bumped heads, and not bumped heads, but been with each other. So we're just gonna have to wait and see on that. At least she had a new friend. What's funny is that the ending of that was that Hitomi was so tired of working last night and hanging out with Anzu is that she literally fell asleep standing up, and it busted me laughing. Like, oh, not busted laughing, but it gave me a really fun chuckle, and it was I was like, yeah. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. The recording might be a little bumpy because it's acting up a little bit over here, and it's frustrating. I mean, but another fun episode. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens in next week's episode. So, thanks again for watching. Until next time, see ya.